It's May 22nd, 2010. A programmer in Florida is hungry. He wants pizza. So he makes an offer on a forum, 10,000 bitcoins for 2 large pizzas. Someone accepts. The pizzas are delivered. Total value? About $25. Today, those 10,000 bitcoins are worth nearly $1 billion. That's right. Someone paid $1 billion for 2 pizzas. But here's the truly insane part. Bitcoin didn't even exist 16 years ago. There was no cryptocurrency, no blockchain, no digital money you could hold without a bank. Nothing. Then, in 2009, a ghost created something that would change everything. An invention that governments tried to ban, that experts said would fail, that skeptics called a scam. Today, that invention is worth over $3 trillion. It's caused people to become overnight millionaires and lose their life savings. It's been used to fund revolutions and commit crimes. It's been banned by countries and adopted as national currency. This is the story of cryptocurrency. From a mysterious white paper to Wall Street legitimacy. From pizza transactions to institutional billions. From underground rebellion to mainstream revolution. And trust me, this story is wild. Let me take you back to 2008. The world is collapsing. Lehman Brothers has just declared bankruptcy. The housing market is in free fall. Banks that were too big to fail are failing. Governments are bailing out the same institutions that caused the crisis with trillions of taxpayer dollars. People are losing their homes, their jobs, their retirement savings, and they're furious because the system was rigged. The banks gambled with other people's money, lost, and got rescued while regular people got destroyed. In the middle of this chaos, on October 31st, 2008, someone posted a paper to an obscure cryptography mailing list. The title? Bitcoin, a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. The author? Satoshi Nakamoto. Nobody knew who Satoshi was. Nobody knew if it was one person or a group. Japanese, American, somewhere else entirely. To this day, 16 years later, nobody knows. But that paper described something revolutionary. Digital money that didn't need banks. Transactions that didn't need governments. A financial system that couldn't be controlled by any single authority. Most people ignored it. Cryptographers had seen digital cash ideas before. They always failed. This would too. They were wrong. January 3rd, 2009. Satoshi Nakamoto created the first Bitcoin block, the Genesis block. Embedded in the code was a message. The Times 3rd of January 2009, Chancellor on brink of second bailout for banks. That's a real headline from the Times newspaper that day. It wasn't random. It was a statement, a timestamp, and a middle finger to the entire banking system. The message was clear. While banks were being bailed out with public money, someone was building an alternative. A system where you controlled your money, where transactions were transparent, where no government could print more currency and devalue what you owned. But here's the thing. At first, Bitcoin was worth nothing. Not 1 cent. Not a fraction of a cent. 0. For months, only a handful of computer nerds even knew it existed. They mined Bitcoins on their laptops just for fun, generating thousands of them with almost no effort. One of those early adopters was Hal Finney, a legendary programmer. On January 12th, 2009, Satoshi sent him 10 Bitcoins in the world's first Bitcoin transaction. Hal tweeted, "Running Bitcoin." That was it. No fanfare, no celebration. Just 2 tech geeks exchanging digital tokens that most people thought were worthless. Fast forward to May 2010. Bitcoin still has almost no real-world value. Then comes Laszlo Hanyecz. Laszlo is a programmer who's accumulated about 10,000 Bitcoins from mining. And he's curious. Can you actually buy something with Bitcoin? So he posts on a forum, "I'll pay 10,000 Bitcoins for someone to order me 2 large pizzas." A guy in England takes him up on it. Orders 2 Papa John's pizzas to Laszlo's Florida address. Cost? about $25, May 22nd, 2010. Bitcoin Pizza Day. The first documented purchase of a physical good with cryptocurrency. And those 10,000 Bitcoins? They hit a peak value of over $690 million in late 2021. Even now, they're worth close to $1 billion. Laszlo doesn't regret it. He proved Bitcoin could work as actual money. But still, imagine explaining to your kids that Daddy once spent $1 billion on pizza. Throughout 2010, Satoshi continued developing Bitcoin, communicating with the early community, fixing bugs, improving the code. Then, in December 2010, Satoshi just vanished. Last public communication, December 12th, 2010. After that, nothing. Gone. Digital ghost. To this day, nobody knows who Satoshi Nakamoto is, or if they're even alive. Various people have been accused of being Satoshi. All denied it or were proven wrong. But here's the crazy part. Satoshi mined about 1 million Bitcoins in those early days. At today's prices, that's worth over $90 billion. And those Bitcoins? They've never moved, never been sold, never been touched. Somewhere out there, someone or some group is sitting on $90 billion in Bitcoin, and they've never spent a single coin. Either Satoshi is the most disciplined person in history, or the private keys are lost forever, or Satoshi is dead, or it's all part of some master plan we can't comprehend. It's the greatest mystery in modern finance. A ghost who created $3 trillion of value and then disappeared. By 2011, Bitcoin was starting to gain traction. The price crossed $1 for the first time. Then it hit $29. People were paying attention. But not all attention was good attention. In February 2011, a website called Silk Road went live. It was Amazon for drugs, and illegal weapons, and fake IDs. Basically anything illegal you could imagine. And it only accepted Bitcoin. Why? Because Bitcoin transactions are pseudonymous. No names. No banks tracking you. Just wallet addresses. Perfect for criminals. Silk Road's creator, Ross Ulbricht, username Dread Pirate Roberts, saw Bitcoin as the currency of freedom, a way to bypass government control and create a free market without laws or regulation. For 2 years, Silk Road thrived. Millions in transactions, thousands of users. Bitcoin's reputation became tied to drugs and crime. The FBI eventually caught Ross in a public library in 2013. He's now serving a life sentence without parole. Silk Road was shut down. But the damage to Bitcoin's reputation? That took years to repair. To many people, Bitcoin was crime. That stigma stuck. By late 2013, Bitcoin was in the news. And not just for Silk Road. The price went crazy. From $13 in January to over $1,100 by December. People were mortgaging houses to buy Bitcoin, quit their jobs to mine it. The mania was real. Then came February 2014. Mt. Gox, the biggest Bitcoin exchange at the time, handling 70% of all Bitcoin transactions, suddenly stopped withdrawals. Days later, they filed for bankruptcy. The revelation? They'd lost 850,000 Bitcoins, worth about $450 million at the time. Simply gone. Some was hacked, some was stolen by insiders. Some might have never existed. To this day, the full story isn't clear. But the price? It crashed, from over $1,100 to under $200. It stayed down for years. People who'd invested everything lost it all. The media declared Bitcoin dead. Again. This was like the 50th time, but who's counting? But here's what the skeptics missed. The technology kept improving, the community kept building, and believers kept believing. While Bitcoin was recovering, something else was happening. Programmers realized, if you can create one cryptocurrency, you can create thousands. And they did. Litecoin launched in 2011. Silver to Bitcoin's gold. Faster transactions. Different algorithm. Then came Dogecoin in 2013. Started as a joke. Literally used a meme of a Shiba Inu dog as its logo. Dogecoin was supposed to be funny. And somehow, it's now worth billions. Elon Musk tweets about it. People have made fortunes from a joke currency. That's how insane this space became. But the real game changer came in 2015. Ethereum. A 19-year-old Russian-Canadian programmer named Vitalik Buterin had an idea. What if blockchain could do more than just transfer money? What if you could run entire programs on it, make agreements that execute automatically, create digital assets beyond currency? He called them smart contracts, and he built Ethereum to make them possible. Ethereum launched in July 2015, and it changed everything. Suddenly, you could create your own cryptocurrency on Ethereum in minutes. You could build decentralized applications, apps with no central server, no company controlling them. The ICO, initial coin offering, boom began. Companies raised billions by creating tokens and selling them to investors. Some were legitimate, most were scams. Between 2016 and 2018, ICOs raised over $20 billion. Thousands of projects launched. Teams with nothing but a white paper and a dream raised millions. 90% of them failed. Investors lost billions. But the 10% that succeeded? They built the foundation of what we now call crypto. December 2017. Bitcoin hits $19,783. Ethereum breaks $1,400. The total crypto market cap exceeds $800 billion. Everyone is talking about crypto. Your Uber driver is giving you investment advice. Your mom is asking about Bitcoin. College kids are dropping out to day trade altcoins. The mania is indescribable. People are taking out loans to buy crypto, mortgaging homes, maxing out credit cards, convinced they're about to get rich. And some did. Early Bitcoin and Ethereum investors became millionaires. Some became billionaires. But what goes up? January 2018. The bubble bursts. Bitcoin crashes from $19,783 to $3,200 by December 2018. Ethereum drops from $1,400 to $85. The total market cap loses over 80% of its value. Fortunes evaporate overnight. Projects that raised millions shut down. The ICO market dies. Investors who bought at the peak are destroyed. The media declares crypto dead. Again. Regulators start cracking down. Countries start banning crypto exchanges. It's crypto winter, dark, cold, brutal, and it lasts for nearly 2 years. But in the darkness, something was being built. Something that would make the 2017 boom look like a practice run. While crypto prices were down, developers kept building. And in 2020, something clicked. They called it DeFi, decentralized finance. The idea? Recreate the entire financial system, loans, savings accounts, trading, insurance, but without banks, without companies, just code. Platforms like Uniswap let you trade cryptocurrencies with no exchange. Compound let you lend and borrow without a bank. MakerDAO let you create stablecoins backed by crypto instead of dollars in a vault. And here's the insane part. It worked. By late 2020, there was over $15 billion locked in DeFi protocols. By 2021, over $180 billion. You could earn 20% interest on your crypto. Take out loans instantly. Trade exotic assets that don't exist in traditional finance. It was the future of money. Or a giant house of cards waiting to collapse. Probably both. May 2020. Paul Tudor Jones, legendary billionaire investor, announces he's buying Bitcoin. October 2020. Square, now Block, buys $50 million in Bitcoin. December 2020. MassMutual invests $100 million. Then came the big one. February 2021. Tesla buys $1.5 billion in Bitcoin. Tesla, the electric car company, put $1.5 billion of its corporate treasury into Bitcoin. The floodgates opened. Michael Saylor's MicroStrategy went even crazier, buying over 250,000 Bitcoins worth billions. He literally bet his entire company on Bitcoin. In April 2021, Coinbase, the biggest US crypto exchange, went public with a valuation of $85 billion. In November 2021, Bitcoin hit a new all-time high, $69,000. The total crypto market cap? $3 trillion. Crypto wasn't fringe anymore. It was mainstream. It was on CNBC. It was in retirement portfolios. Your financial advisor was calling you about crypto exposure. But mania breeds disaster, and 2022 was a bloodbath. May 2022. Terra de Luna collapses. $40 billion evaporated in days. People lost their life savings. The founder went into hiding. November 2022. FTX, the third largest crypto exchange valued at $32 billion, files for bankruptcy. Its founder, Sam Bankman-Fried, went from billionaire philanthropist to criminal defendant in 48 hours. He'd been stealing customer funds to fund his hedge fund, buy luxury real estate, and donate to politicians. Billions of dollars. Gone. Sam was convicted of fraud and sentenced to 25 years in prison. FTX customers are still trying to recover their money. Bitcoin crashed to $16,000. Ethereum fell to $1,000. The crypto market lost over $2 trillion in value. Another crypto winter. Another wave of "I told you so" from skeptics. Another round of obituaries. But this time, something was different. The technology kept advancing. The regulations got clearer. The institutional interest didn't disappear. It grew. BlackRock, the world's largest asset manager, launches a Bitcoin ETF. It becomes the most successful ETF launch ever, gathering over $50 billion in assets in less than a year. Fidelity, Grayscale, Invesco, all the giants launched Bitcoin ETFs. Suddenly, your grandmother could buy Bitcoin through her retirement account. Harvard's endowment invested in Bitcoin ETFs. Pension funds started allocating. By late 2024, institutional investors held over $115 billion in Bitcoin ETFs. That's real money from real institutions. Not speculation, allocation. As of January 2026, the cryptocurrency market is worth over $3 trillion. Bitcoin is trading around $100,000. Ethereum is above $4,000. There are over 25,000 different cryptocurrencies. Countries like El Salvador made Bitcoin legal tender, then revoked it. Others are developing central bank digital currencies, government-issued crypto. Major companies accept crypto payments. You can buy a Tesla with Bitcoin, pay for your coffee with crypto, get a mortgage backed by crypto collateral. DeFi platforms process billions in transactions daily. NFTs, non-fungible tokens, revolutionized digital art and ownership. Web3 promises to rebuild the internet on blockchain technology. And all of it, started with a mysterious person writing code in response to a financial crisis. From a paper posted to an obscure mailing list, to a $3 trillion market in 16 years. From 2 pizzas for 10,000 Bitcoin to institutional investors allocating billions. From underground rebellion to Wall Street legitimacy. So what do we take from this insane journey? First, innovation doesn't ask for permission. Satoshi didn't wait for approval from banks or governments. He just built it and released it and changed the world. Second, skeptics are usually wrong about new technology. Bitcoin has been declared dead over 400 times by the media. It keeps not dying. Third, volatility is the price of revolution. Yes, people have lost money in crypto, lots of money. But the technology has also created life-changing wealth and fundamentally new financial infrastructure. Fourth, the future is unpredictable. In 2010, if you'd told someone Bitcoin would be worth $100,000 and institutions would be fighting to invest in it, they'd have laughed at you. But here's what we still don't know. Who is Satoshi Nakamoto? Will we ever find out? Or will it remain the greatest mystery in modern finance? What happens to those 1 million Satoshi Bitcoins? If they ever move, the market will go insane. Will Bitcoin replace traditional currency? Or will it coexist as digital gold, a store of value like precious metals? Will other cryptocurrencies surpass Bitcoin, Ethereum, something we haven't even heard of yet? What about the next bubble and crash? Because there will be another one. There always is. Will you be ready? Love it or hate it, cryptocurrency isn't going anywhere. It's too big, too established, too integrated into the financial system. Major universities offer blockchain degrees. Fortune 500 companies have crypto strategies. Governments are scrambling to regulate it. The ghost who created Bitcoin might be gone, but what they built is permanent, irreversible, unstoppable. 16 years ago, a mysterious figure released 9 pages of code that changed finance forever. Today, that code has spawned a $3 trillion industry, created millionaires and bankrupted speculators, built new financial systems and destroyed old ones. And the craziest part? We're probably still in the early days. Crypto is to traditional finance what the internet was to traditional media in 1995. Which means the real revolution, it hasn't even started yet. That's the wild story of cryptocurrency, from mysterious origins to mainstream adoption, from pizza transactions to trillion-dollar markets. If this blew your mind, smash that like button. This stuff is complicated, and the algorithm needs to know people want more deep dives like this. Subscribe and hit the bell if you want more stories about money, power, and the technologies reshaping our world. Because crypto, this is just the beginning. Comment below. Do you own any cryptocurrency? Are you a believer or a skeptic? What do you think happens next? And here's my challenge. Go research Satoshi Nakamoto. Try to solve the mystery. If you figure out who they are, you'll be famous. Until next time, stay curious, stay skeptical, and never invest more than you can afford to lose. See you in the next one.